when I was probably about 13 years old, we lived out in the middle of nowhere. We lived in the middle of a farm, a soybean field. And my mother was home with three young children, my two sisters who were younger than I was, and myself. And my father worked 3 or 4 jobs at any given time. He was always working. He was working this particular night. And this was about 1968. It was hot and humid. It was kind of felt like today. And it was late at night. And my mother was watching the news. And on the news, they said that there were 2 escaped convicts loose in St. Joseph County, which is the county we're in. And that people had to be on the lookout because they were armed and dangerous. So this never happened in our little town. They escaped from the county jail. And my mother went to the back door of the house to make sure that it was locked. And as she walked in the back door, you can come on in, just grab some food there and just come on down and sit down. As she went to the back of the house, she saw that the back door was open about 2 inches. And she never left it open. And so she was a little fearful, and she locked the door back up, and she went over to the sink to grab a drink of water. And as she was pouring the water, have you ever gotten that feeling that someone is standing there staring at you? You don't know who they are, but you just feel it. And she felt that in the room. And so she started pouring her water, and all of a sudden, the shadow from this person fell over the top of her. And she knew she was in trouble. And she had 3 kids to protect. So she doubled up her fist in the bottom of that sink, and she waited for him to get just close enough. And she wheeled around, and bang, she nailed him. I mean, she hit him so hard. Now, my mother's only 5 foot tall. She hit him so hard that he came up off the floor, flew through the hallway door, and slid down the hallway wall. And as I slid down that wall, I learned a few important lessons. One thought that kind of went through my head was, you know, this isn't near as funny as I had pictured it to be, you know, sneaking up on your mother. And the other thought that I had was never, ever, ever underestimate the power of a woman, right? Especially when something's important to her. And I think one thing I did learn from that experience is when something's really important to you, you can find the strength and the power to do it, right? So I hope that all of you, when you go back, you're going to face a lot of difficulties. Right now you've got camaraderie and you got support and you got great ideas, and you're going to go back home and you're going to hit some brick walls. And I hope that you remember that if you have enough belief in yourself and what you've learned, you can burrow through those things and that you can smash through them. And the other thing that I had from my mother was a lot of love. She hates it when I tell that story because she never hit me before in my life, and she's never hit me since. But I like the story, don't you? I think it's pretty funny, right? So she was a great influence on my life. And one of the things I want to talk about is having an influence on other people's lives and how valuable that is. And that's what I call it, power of leadership through sharing fire.